Thank you again for being here. A special thank you to Philip and Michael and Kevin. I thought I saw Kevin here somewhere for sharing last Sunday. I asked the gentlemen to reflect on our same theme that we were retreating on. So thank you for filling in, and welcome again to this first Sunday in Lent, what the ancients describe as a wilderness time. So welcome as you are to this wilderness where you might be wandering but never alone. And as we remember from Tolkien, not all who wander are lost. I invite you now to take some deeper breaths, letting ourselves arrive as fully as we can, breathing out worry, breathing in peace, bringing ourselves to the gift of the present moment. And as you're moved, I invite you to join me in a spirit of prayer from Psalm 19. God, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. After Jesus said yes officially to this path of emptying and surrendering and loving wildly, this path that one scholar describes as a path of dying to assumptions, worldviews, entanglements, and obligations as a citizen of the Roman Empire. After doing that, saying yes, that's what the baptism is. Letting go of all of that. That's when he goes into the wilderness. After he's done this religious act, and as Stanley Saunders calls it, not just a religious act, but a political one, choosing God instead of Caesar. And the image of the baptism itself is actually violent and hope-filled at the same time. And it's the only place in the entire gospel where we get that word for ripping, tearing. We get it one other time, and that's when he's at the cross, when the veil is torn from the top to the bottom. So it's clear that the writers of this ancient story want us to see those waters of baptism as a symbol of both death and life, a turning point, an end of one thing and the commitment to something on purpose, a beginning, a ritualizing of being willing to let parts of ourselves die. So after Jesus officially says yes by going deep into the river with John, he is compelled into the wilderness. And in Greek, the root of that word is about being deserted, lonely, empty. So as I was reading this story this year, in this season, at this particular moment, I'm wondering if part of what this teaching has to offer us, part of what this story wants to tell us, is that the Jesus path, part of it at least, is about being willing to be with ourselves, all alone with ourselves. I think it is no coincidence that this happens right after Jesus says yes, as if the universe says, now you've said yes, now I dare you to go on the most important journey of your life. Go in. And he ends up all alone. And then what do we hear from the text? Who visits him? Both angels and beasts together. The text says he was with both of them. And I wonder if that means Jesus was willing to face what he was holding inside. If that's one of the first steps on the spiritual journey. Being willing to face the angel of compassion and the beast of anger. the angel of generosity and the beast of scarcity, the angel of forgiveness and the beast of old grudges, the angel of hope and the beast of fear, together. Maybe this was an ancient way of talking about how essential it is to our spiritual growth to acknowledge our inner demons, our pain, our anger, our sadness. You might have read Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, and in that book he talks about how what we carry inside can distance us from who we want to be if we don't shine a light on it. He writes about what is called the pain body and how we need to acknowledge it. He says if you don't face it, if you don't bring the light of your consciousness into your pain, you will live it again and again. The pain body may become a dangerous monster that you cannot bear to look at, but I assure you it is an insubstantial phantom that cannot prevail against the power of your presence. Pain can indeed become a wild beast, a dangerous monster, if left untended, unseen, unexamined. I know something about that, and I bet you do too. I think it's no accident that this oldest gospel we have in the Gospel of Mark starts this way. We don't have a birth story even in the Gospel of Mark. We start right here in the wilderness. We human beings can become distant from the best of ourselves when we are driven by fear or pain or hurts or wounds. When we don't bring light on what is real, we can end up becoming the very thing we fear. We worry about being harmed, so we harm. Doesn't it seem like there's a lot of that going around in the world? What a gift that part of this season invites us to go in, to not be afraid of the wilderness time, to the wandering internally and in the woods, being willing to face whatever we encounter inside. What if one of the most important parts of the Jesus path is being willing to be with ourselves, to see what is real, and to transform the pain of history to be fully in the present? And what if part of being willing to be alone with ourselves is to love ourselves? As the poet Melanie Godfrey wrote, "Of all the things I own, my worth is my favorite possession." And I think we should say that together. Repeat after me. Of all the things I own, my worth is my favorite possession. We can be with ourselves, with all of ourselves. And what if this Lenten season can be for us a time of both letting the angels wait on us and in letting the best of ourselves shine and be seen and affirmed and shared and our worth really felt? And also, what if this can be a time where we shine light on the wild beasts that are our old ways of thinking, our assumptions, our small worldviews, our false entanglements, our shallow obligations, our pain, and the places where we're driven by fear? Because all of this can become a wild beast, a dangerous monster if left untended, unseen, unexamined. Our theme for this season is wandering, and part of what is meant by that is going off the path to go deeper. So what if being willing to go beyond the surface and inside ourselves to the wilderness places and being with ourselves and seeing ourselves for what is real, what if that's part of our call in this sacred season? And what if we are saying yes to God, to our greater love, to life force, when we can love whatever it is we find in here? Angels and beasts. So what do you think? Do you have, or have you had wilderness times that have brought you alone but deeper? Times that might be described as periods where you entertained both angels and beasts? Do you have a regular part of your life where you examine your inner world? If so, how? If not, why not? And knowing that each of us arrives from different places and perspectives, seeking different possibilities, and that this is a gift to us all, I invite you now, we're going to share with one another as you're comfortable, listening and reflecting about what's come up for you. And to you who are watching on the live stream, you're invited to do the same thing, explore what's come up for you, or maybe journal or talk to those at home. So, all right, have at it. What do you think? Okay, beautiful people. Any insights worthy of the whole group? And we're going to try again to experiment with sharing the mic, which stresses me out less than feeling like I need to repeat everything perfectly. But don't take advantage of having the mic in your hand. What came up for you? We got a hand over here.
We talked about when we voice things aloud to friends, maybe things we think we did poorly or a mistake we made or something, that often when we say it aloud and that person listening responds with, okay, yeah, what's the big deal? It really helps us to realize, yeah, maybe that wasn't such a terrible thing that I had done or said. And it makes it easier for you to realize that you maybe were judging yourself too harshly. So.
And I'll follow up with what Sarah said. I've been working with self-forgiveness and self-compassion. And so I feel like that's related to what Sarah said.
Me and Eddie talked about being creative. And like for me, it's in the kitchen and cooking to just kind of let my mind at ease. And with Eddie, it's like his art and singing and music and just all the artsy stuff that we like to do.
That's great. Sometimes we're going too fast to even know we're feeling inside, right? So doing those kinds of activities allows it. Oh, that's what's there. Beautiful. Anything else? Get everybody who wants to share. All right.
Jackie and I we talked about being in transition, which is, of course, the reading of today from Mark, and how we're so frequently find ourselves in that throughout our life, and how that requires us really to look at the beasts within and to rely on the angels who are often outside.
And you'll note the text says that he's driven there, which we're left to mean, at least in this version, it wasn't necessarily his choice, right? So often it's not our choice to go to the deepest, most generative, most spectacular place. We might avoid that if we had a choice. So thank you, everyone. Well, beloved of God, let us be willing to shine light on our angels and know our worth. And let us see and love and know also our inner beasts, so we aren't driven by fear. And let us remember, even when we are alone with ourselves, we are never alone. Let us have courage. Let us be ready. May it be so. Amen.
Greetings to you wherever you are watching this. For those of you whom I have yet to meet in person, I'm Reverend Nicola Marsh, pastor here at Community UCC. And we see that people like you are watching our live stream each week. And because of this, we are excited to be embarking upon an experiment. And we need you. If you are engaging with us regularly, finding meaning in what we are about, we would like to extend a special invitation for you to be among the first CUCC digital disciples. For signing up for just $10 a month, you will receive a t-shirt with the new CUCC logo. And we are also exploring the idea of offering other content to those of you who are part of this new and growing area of digital ministry. Sign up to support us in this new way at cuccboulder.org/support by clicking on the yellow donate tab and noting you are a digital disciple in the instructions. Or as always, we welcome an old-fashioned check mailed to us at CUCC, P.O. Box 3646, Boulder, Colorado 80307. Thank you for being and building beloved community with us, and thank you for your gift, whatever it might be.